Welcome back to TLT Talks. It is almost Thanksgiving time, and I personally love this time of year. If you know anything about me, that you know I'm obsessed with gratitude practice and gratitude in general. I find it calming, and ultimately, it's around Thanksgiving time is such a great time for reflection, and also it's a great time for stress. While there's certain things that create an environment where people get stressful, and one of those things is holiday tipping. We're gonna have with us today Stephen McArdle, the head of rentals for the Litvak team. There he is.
All right.
What's up, Stephen? What's up, bro? How you doing? How you doing?
Great to be with you, Eugene. Always is,
Love
man.
it.
Great to see you.
Ditto, my man. So Stephen's been on TLT Talks live before, but just in case you didn't remember him or don't know him, he's almost 40 years in the real estate industry, literally double me. I've sold $1 billion in real estate, and so has he. He's launched over 20 buildings. And then, you know, you won't see it in the resume, but just the fabric of this human is absolutely incredible. Stephen, always a pleasure, man.
Thank you very much, Eugene. Coming right back. I am, as someone once said to me, I'm a mirror of you, man. Mm-hmm. So that fabric you're talking about yourself as well. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. Well, you know, we like to have fun on the show. Tell us a fun fact.
You know, it just happened. It's funny, when I was thinking about that, I have 4 boys. My oldest turned 30 like a week ago, and and that was like the realization that I have a 30-year-old was like so fun. And I was actually, someone was asking me about it, like, what is that like, and like, where do I get, like, where's joy and fun in my life? And I was just thinking about how much fun and how much joy I have with my boys, because they're 30, 27, 25, and 16. So unlike you with, and you like Sam and Rose are what, 7 or 8, right? Like
almost 9, man. Time flies.
They really?
They're gonna be 9 in March, bro.
That's crazy. So crazy. Like, you have your own, you have a type of fun with them, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm in like a different type of fun. Like I'm in fantasy football leagues, and we're dogging each other, you know, like
nice.
We're like trying to take advantage of each other with trades and this, and it's just this whole. Awesome. It's a whole different type of fun, man. So, like, having a 30-year-old is awesome.
Well, they're very lucky to have you as a dad, sir.
Thank you very much.
Lucky. They're very lucky. So one of the stressors of holiday season is if you live in a luxury building, or even if you don't live in a luxury building, but there's staff associated with your residence. Maybe you live in a community somewhere where there's an HOA principal. There's this notion of, what do I tip? Should I tip?
Yeah.
What do I tip? So let's start there, Stephen.
Yeah.
You've dealt with so many buildings. You've built your own building. You've lived in many buildings. I can think of a better resource to help our audience with removing the stressor and just turning it into, you know, it is what it is. And so tell us, my friend, should people tip?
I think you just said it is what it is. And like, the should is such a strong word, right? Mm-hmm. So like, first of all, to me, like, there is no should, right? Mm-hmm. So like, we do. The intention of tipping is to express a certain gratitude, right? To express a recognition of someone, their work, what they do, and their contribution to you over the year, right? So, and I also get people have circumstance, right? So some people have good years. So like, the first thing that comes to my mind is, like, should I? If you can, great. If you can't, then looking someone in the eye, shaking their hand, and thanking them from the bottom of your heart is what this is about, right? Totally. So that's like that's what comes to me immediately. Like one time, like, you know, I remember I was living in a smaller co-op on 22nd Street in Chelsea, and with only like a handyman, like only the guy that took out the garbage. So that was an easy list. I remember the first time I moved to a bigger building, and I got the list. It was like I was in a diner, man. It was
Yeah.
like
It's like
18 pages.
you gotta like save all year for tip time. It's like
Exactly. You know,
it's
with
part of your savings
photographs,
budget.
everyone had pictures. They were names.
Yeah,
I didn't even
yeah,
know these people
yeah,
existed,
yeah.
right? You know, so there was one guy who I got along with. I regifted him a tomahawk steak. I
That's
had a
awesome.
steak. I had a steak in my freezer, and I was like, "What would?" So I gave him that, right?
Not lovely.
And just that acknowledgement of who he was and what matters to him. He loved to cook, and just so that's my answer to your question.
Yeah,
Like,
I love it.
should we?
I love it. I love it.
If you can, great. If you can't, great. And what
Yeah,
it's really about is the acknowledgement and recognition and seeing someone for who
yeah,
they are.
yeah. That's so great. Yeah, for sure. Look for the understanding of the dynamic, for the doorman, the concierge, the port, for all the staff
Yeah,
of the bigger buildings, they really depend on this. Their incomes, their
yeah,
salaries are what they are, and really at the end of the year, they're relying on this money for sustaining their family and whatever. But again, no pressure, man. If you can't do it, look, the doormen that are like normal, for lack of a better term, they'll understand. And what I would look to impart on everybody is it doesn't necessarily have to be money. I mean, of course, all the staff, they look forward to some sort of bonus at the end of the year, which comes in the form of these holiday bonuses. But also, if you can't, like one year we had, I mean, I'll speak to it from a real estate perspective in just a second. But one year we had the kids draw the doorman. We didn't have them. They asked to do it because they loved our doorman when we lived there. They drew the doorman pictures, like Happy Thanksgiving. It was like our family, and they were like in the family, and they did a gift. And then one year the kids wanted to like bake them cookies, and then every year we had a family over for Thanksgiving, so we would bring them down a plate. There's multiple ways to show your appreciation, and if you can't for any financial reason, I mean, if you can, should you? If you can, sure, you should. You should show your appreciation for people, but it shouldn't be a mandate or an obligation. And if you can, you shouldn't feel bad about it. But there's certainly other ways to show your appreciation. I think at the end of the day, what's meant to be is if they're doing a good job and you've got a great relationship, just don't forget to show your appreciation. If you're a fellow real estate community person, the doorman slash concierge in a building is your best friend. They're the gatekeeper to the rest of the community. They know what's coming on and off the market. If your owner forgot to leave you permission to enter or something, but the doorman knows you and knows you would never overstep a bound, like this is your best friend. Same with management. They control the speed of the transaction. They control the diligence process.
100%.
So if you are in the real estate industry, don't think of it as a should you. You should make the investment
Exactly.
into these relationships.
Yeah.
Well, so on that, what's a good amount, Stephen? Okay, so I
Yeah.
hear you guys loud and clear. I should do it. I can do it. I don't want to be cheap, but I also don't want to give away my entire 401k. What's
100%.
what's like
Yeah.
reasonable?
So there are some. I think the most resourceful data out there. Brick Underground does a great
Yeah,
recap
yeah,
every year, right? So they generally they get surveys from over 3,000, 4,000 people, and which is also really great. New Yorkers are
yeah,
tipping, even
yeah.
in
Oh yeah,
with the cost of living here and rents at where they are. They still acknowledge the people that they work with, which is just awesome.
yeah,
Go New York, go New
yeah.
York, go
That's
New
right.
York,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
And it does depend on building size and the type of building and how long you've been there and how long the employee has been there. And like also there's a lot of feedback on that survey about any particular hardship that an employee may have gone through that year or whatever the case might be. So like there's definitely a range.
Sure,
So
sure.
what they suggest or what is common for New Yorkers is building managers are anywhere from $150 to $300 individually, right? So a doorman, the range for doorman that they say is like from $75 to $200. Handyman and porters are like 25 to 50. Garage attendants, 25 to 75, depending on your relationship and how long you've been there. And even like the mailman, like even the person who's there every day, like 20 to them goes a really long way,
Yeah.
right? So again, the range is there. It goes, and as we said before, it goes to what your ability is. It goes to your relationship, and not all employees are the same,
That's
right?
right.
So there are people that are overnight that may or may not even seen. Yes, they're contributing to you and doing the work behind the scenes at night. but they're not the ones that you have the strong relationship with. It's not a one size fit all tip, right? If you have a particular relationship with a doorman or a handyman or a porter, you're gonna tip them differently for sure.
Yeah, that's so true, man. Like we lived in a luxury building. Again, we got the same coloring book you did of some staff members, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, here's the porter, here's the porter's assistant, here's the porter's assistant's accountant. You know?
Exactly.
So,
exactly. And this is the vacation I would like to go on this year too,
that's right.
right?
That's right. And so I wanted to send my kids to college, but I had to tip all the staff, you know? Like,
Exactly.
but you know, it was just, you're right. It was a range of relationships, you know. Look, here's a really easy example. A lot of the doormen are not allowed to leave their station. So especially a doorman where there's not a concierge, so they're not allowed to leave their station. And so I've seen it where the doorman, let's say somebody's coming into the building, they might have a lot of bags of groceries or something, and the doorman won't leave the station, and they're doing it because that's what they were told to do. And then there's other ones, same exact position, same exact rule system, that won't care, and they'll leave and they'll open the door and they'll open the bag and then whatever. So, you know, like when I know the doorman, the latter doorman's constantly helping my wife, he gets treated a little bit better, you know. Like then there was these two doormen in particular that they were just so kind all the time. Every time we'd pass by, they'd give the kids a candy, or they were just so kind. It felt like they were part of our family.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we work really hard, and thank God we do okay. And so when it came to holiday season, I just wanted to step up for their family, you know, and so I you know, the numbers I gave were astronomically higher than the numbers mentioned.
Yeah.
But just because I didn't look at it as a tip, I just looked at it as like, I'm not looking at them, thank you for your service only. I felt like they were part of my family. For anyone that knows me, I'm a giver, and so I thought about them, and I would always give my holiday bonuses very early. So that's something for everyone to think about.
Yep.
Don't wait till Christmas. Like, think about what this will be used for. It'll be used for holiday gifts. It'll be used for travel. It'll be used for Thanksgiving, buying groceries. So the early, like even pre-Thanksgiving is not too early, right?
I agree.
And so I would think exactly that. I would think like Thanksgiving dinner. I would think like they're sitting with their family. What can I do to make holiday season so much better? And so that's it. So I gave fairly early. Again, for the real estate people, like the building manager, my God, that's one of the most critical roles in the whole operation.
Yes.
Because if you got a commitment, you know, if all these different timelines, for you to be able to walk in the office and say, listen, I know we're number 17 in the list of packages you got to review, but I got this thing, can you hook me up? And for you to have a relationship, they say, for you, Eugene, or for you, John, of course. I mean, my God, that'll go such a long way.
Yeah, I mean, there is a big difference for someone who's in the industry and is a broker or is a salesperson.
For sure.
Right? And I know that our audience has everyone.
That's right.
So it has both types.
Right.
So
that's right.
So 100% that if you're in the business, the people that you're around, your community is a source of business, and it's a source of going forward. And if you're not a broker or a salesperson and you live in they're part of your community, I get that too, right? So and what I really use the word family. The staff of a building becomes your family.
That's right.
You know, like, and we started this, that I have 4 boys. Like, I can think of the buildings that I've lived at, that the door, like the way they treated my boys like family made a real difference.
Like,
not even just I mean, like a real difference in their lives. Like they would be like they considered them family. So I'm so yeah, we're very lucky to be here for sure. Did you go quiet on me?
It's funny. Instagram does its job. I implemented a setting. I think I had the same thing happen last month. I implemented a setting that limits the amount of time you spend on Instagram. Like, you know what? I want a guardrail. So, you know, you could get lost. And so just as you were chatting, it popped up, oh, you're at your limit for the day. I'm like, oh, thank you, Instagram. But damn it, Instagram, timing. Timing is everything, Instagram.
That's awesome.
That's
great. That is awesome.
Well, okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So, okay, should I tip? Really, really entirely up to me. Okay, great. How much should I tip? You've got some framework here. If you're a professional, if there's some added incentive to tip better for the purpose of the relationship, feel free to consider that. Maybe you do 2 or 3x the norm, entirely up to you. How do I tip? How do I, what's the actual infrastructure or the actual, we love our SOPs at Litvak Team, standard operating procedure. What is the SOP for tipping? When should we do it? How should we do it?
Yeah, I think like the earlier the better, and I think for every reason that you said, right? Like, what is the use of this money, right? So the use of this money is like in real time. It could be presents for their kids. It could be a tree. It could whatever it is, right? So so having that forward thinking is great.
Yeah.
And I think how we tip, I actually think that's generational. I really do. Like, I think that and even inside of the building employees, it depends on which one. Like my father, he's no longer with us, but not only would he teach me how to fold the dollar bill an exact certain way to fit into the palm of my hand, but to make sure that it was placed upside down. So when the person you were handing it to, when they opened up their hand, it was right side up. So they knew exactly what it was.
That's it. So we call that the Russian handshake.
That was the Irish handshake as well. So they're brothers. They're brothers in arms. So you got that. So me personally, I would put it in an envelope, right? I would get envelope.
Yeah.
There's something, and particularly in this day and age when we're racing and racing and racing, I think it goes back to what we were originally saying. It is about the acknowledgement of that person, right? So anything that you can do to stop, and even if it's a little handwritten note, the power of writing something like, hey, whoever, really grateful for how you took care of me this year. Like whatever it is,
for sure,
goes a really long way. So I personally do get cards. Yeah. Like I personally do write their name on the envelope. I personally do all that, right? I also know people that just go to the local bank and get like the free envelopes from the teller, like, and put it in there.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a generation that wants the Venmo.
That's it.
People, right?
You got Zelle, you got Cash Pay. What do you got?
We're gonna be Bitcoining people soon,
I was just
thinking,
right? For the newer generation, a 100th of a Bitcoin doesn't sound too bad right now. Even a 100th of a Bitcoin doesn't sound too bad right now.
Yeah, exactly. So to answer your question, how and when, I do think that is personal. And what I offer is it's just about the respect you're showing and the acknowledgement getting, in addition to the dollar amount that you're doing. So there's no wrong way. If you're able to do it, awesome.
Yeah. The one thing I think that's great. I think the one thing I would add to that, I've heard and see what was the way it was in my building, and I've also seen it a lot. They prepare like a box for the doorman tips, and you put an envelope and you drop it in the box. I would urge to stay away from that. I would urge, like, if you're already going to give someone a gift, which is beautiful, and a gift, it's not a mandate, it's a gift, walk up to them, look them in their eyes, say thank you, shake their hand, and hand them their gift. Don't put it in some box where it loses the meaning.
100%.
So that's the only thing I would add to that. Otherwise, everything else is totally
agree. I would walk around with a pocket full of envelopes for like 2 weeks. Like literally, not because shifts change. Yes, I know this guy is usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I walk around ready for it.
Same.
Like if
it was an annual procedure in my house. We had a spreadsheet. Every time I finished, we had a spreadsheet. How much is the total? Then every time I see the total, I cry for a little bit. I'd be like, no, wait, gratitude, not stress, gratitude.
Yeah.
And then Julie and we had our separate relationships. So I would give out some, she'd give out some. Some we knew they were obsessed with the kids, so we'd have the kids give the envelope. It's like, make it fun. Man, in life in general, if it's not fun, it's not worth it. Make it fun. If you're already doing it, whatever amount you decided on, don't allow yourself to get stressed about it. You've already parted way with it. Just make it fun. This is maybe a little bit rah-rah, but I firmly believe I firmly believe in the religion of karma. And the more you put out there without any expectation of return, just the more good vibes, the more resources, like these are resources, more resources and energy you put out there, the more that's likely going to go back to you. So rather than thinking about, oh man, this amount of money is X, if you've already decided to let it go, then let it go with good vibes. Let it go with gratitude. Don't let it go stressfully and with anxiety or whatever. Then just let it go, whatever. And again, really, really sincerely, if you can't do it, there's other ways to show your
Yes.
gratitude, and don't feel like any lesser for it. Well, honestly, on the topic of gratitude, I could stay on a conversation on the topic of gratitude for literally the entire day.
Yes.
Any final thoughts, Mr. McArdle? Any final thoughts?
Beyond what, just want to add to what you said. Like it's a cliche, and it's a cliche for a reason, because it's been said. It's the thought that counts.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And we've said it several times, but just want to really leave you with, I think what really matters is for that person is that they're seen, that they're appreciated, that they're respected, that they're, and the power of that goes a long way. It'll fill that cup so much more than any $20, $25, $50 will. It's that, it's like, so to your point, do what you can. These are important people in your life, and don't stress over it, right? It's not like that's the key. We do what we can do in life, right? And so that's what and thank you for the time today. It's always great being with you, man.
My pleasure. Speaking of seeing people, I got James B here on with us. He's watching us. Nancy jumped on.
Woohoo!
Is saying hello. Two of the most generous people that I know in my life. Yeah, Stephen, I totally agree. Let me just summarize for everyone as a final thought. Should you tip? You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. Theoretically, yes, but only if it's coming from a place of abundance and coming from a place of you want to, not you have to. Brooklyn Brownstoner says, great stuff, lads. Thank you very much, Mick. Appreciate you, and see you too. How much should you tip? We talked through those ranges. If you didn't catch them, feel free to hit me up on a DM or an email or however, and I'm happy to get them to you. And how to tip, again, really up to you. I would just say do it in such a way where it's most meaningful to the person you're giving it to. So if the person you're giving it to has some allergy or they hate envelopes, well, then don't do an envelope. Like if the person you're giving it to thinks, writing cards is super chia, just think of, again, giving should be from the purpose of contribution. So just think about how the person would, appreciate it most. And yeah, I think, look, there's going to be some younger staff. They probably would appreciate it as well. But don't underestimate. I'm totally with you, Steven. I'm old school. I don't care what they say. There's nothing as powerful as a handwritten card. I don't care if you tell me, oh, just sell it. Okay, fine. But then when you get the card and it's in your hands and you read the message, I didn't need it, but damn, this is nice. So
right.
Strong recommendation, handwritten card, envelope, cash. That's probably ideal. Mr. McArdle, thank you so much for your time today.
Always great being with you, Eugene. Really. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a great day, everybody. And everyone is here. Have a great day, everybody.
See you guys. Be well, everyone.
Thank you.